Hi guys. Well, I promised that the next video would be a tech video, and this one is a tech video, but it's not the video that I had in mind. And I will try and get round to doing the one that I had in mind, which was for kind of like new Mac users. But this one is something that I'm asking all the people who watch my video this question, and kind of like your opinions and your views on this. Adobe, who everybody knows is one of the biggest suppliers of creative software, like Photoshop obviously being their flagship product, have come out. Well, John Nack, the guy who is I assume he's kind of like the bigwig of Adobe, has come out and said that Adobe will not be producing, at least not yet, a 64-bit version for Mac users. Yet though they're still doing it for Windows, they're going to still push out the Windows version for 64-bit. Now, the reason why he says this isn't going to happen is because on the last Macworld, things were changed. Apparently, Apple used the 64-bit that Apple were using was the Carbon 64-bit, I think it is. Just let me read this a second. Yeah, the Carbon 64-bit is what Apple were using, and that's what Adobe thought they were going to keep on using. But Apple changed to the Cocoa 64-bit, which is obviously Apple had their reasons for doing it. And you know, I'm not an expert in this by no stretch of the imagination, and I'm certainly not an expert on Photoshop either. I'm not that good with software, things like that. But Jerry was talking on his last, Jerry Vegas Underground, he was talking on his last video about Google taking over Apple, and he also mentioned a little bit about Adobe being one of the biggest companies in, especially in their field of creative software. And you know, he's probably right. I couldn't say one way or the other whether they're not. They appear to be. You know, Photoshop's probably the best product you can use. Well, for a company that is so big, you would think that they would be able to make the transition between the Cocoa 64-bit that Apple used to the Carbon 64-bit that Apple used to use to this Cocoa 64-bit that they used to use. Now, I've always been led to believe, which could be a myth, I don't know, but I've always been led to believe that, you know, Macs in general were aimed at the creative type of person, which is the reason why they come with all the, you know, the iLife products, which are therefore creating your life or whatever on and putting it out there on the web and stuff like that there. But a lot of big companies that I know of that do graphic design and stuff like that, they all use Macs. So I'm assuming that Adobe are going to upset an awful lot of Mac users, well, an awful lot of people in the industry, because they can't get this 64-bit version of Adobe Photoshop. Yet though, they've just brought out they've just brought out a 64-bit version of Photoshop Lightroom, which is a 2.0 beta. Now, and they've brought that out obviously on the Cocoa 64-bit, which is the problem. They're saying that they can't get out on Photoshop 64-bit. So I don't understand how they can get that out, but they can't get Photoshop out. Now they're saying that there's a chance that it will come out at some point, but according to the research that I've read on the web, on the internet and stuff like that about this particular subject, Adobe normally have like a 12 to 24 month turnover period of things. So by the time Mac users get the 64-bit as a CS4 version, they're going to be pushing out CS5, and Windows users are going to be way ahead again. Now, you know, to a lot of people, to me personally, it's not a big deal, because like I said, I'm not an expert in using this software package, but there's a lot of people that make their, you know, their livelihood out of using this software. And you know, obviously the 64-bit is going to be faster, it's going to be a lot more streamlined and stuff like that there for the operating system. And so, you know, time is of the essence when you're making money, you know, when you're running a business and stuff like that. And if your competitors, you know, other companies that are using Windows machines are pushing out stuff faster and better and with better performance than you are, and there's not really a lot you can do about it, then, you know, Mac users are going to be at a big disadvantage. Anyway, I just wanted to know what everybody thought about this. By the way, you know, this is a direct quote from John Nack, who seems to be really pissed off at Apple for changing, first of all, for changing their Carbon 64-bit to the Cocoa 64-bit. And I'm assuming the reason why Apple have done this changeover, and I could be totally wrong, and people can correct me if they're right. I'm assuming that they've done this because of all the apps and the developers that have come together for the likes of the iPhone and all the different software programs that are being written for that. I don't know. I have no idea why Apple have done it, but I'm guessing it might have something to do with that. But this is a direct quote from him. He says, "Our feeling has been to deliver 64-bit in both platforms for this release." But he then went on to say, "We could hold back the Windows 64-bit version until we could catch up with the Mac version. But that didn't seem fair to our Windows customers." So, I mean, they quite clearly, or he does in any case, he quite clearly favours Windows over Mac users. And I don't think that's a good message for a company such as Adobe to be coming out and, you know, boldly making that statement. You know, that's going to, I would imagine that would put quite a big dent in their revenue. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? I mean, make a video response and tell me, maybe you've got more information on this than I do. You maybe know a lot more. Well, it wouldn't be hard for you to know a lot more about Photoshop than I do. So, you know, people like Jerry and stuff like that there, make a video response to this, mate, because you use Photoshop on a daily basis. You're a designer. You know more about this. This might affect you more than it's certainly going to affect me. And how do you feel about that, mate? But anyway, that's just a question I wanted to ask people and see how people responded to this and how they feel about the fact that John Nack has come out and made these comments. There's also a rumour that he has come out and said something. Now, I haven't seen this on the internet, and it's a rumour, so I don't know whether he has said it, but he has turned around and made apparently derogatory comments towards the Mac community. Again, that particular part is a rumour that I've heard, and I have no proof of that whatsoever. But if you find proof of that on the net or on the web, you know, by all means put it in your video response to this. But anyway, I just leave you to it and see what you all think about it. And thanks very much for watching the videos, and thanks very much for all the really kind comments that I got on the last video. And hope to speak to you all soon again. Bye.